So in today's web dev tip, we're going to take a quick look at modules in TypeScript and how you can use the import and export keywords to share code amongst different files. So let's say, for example, that we've got our basic user class that we've used in our examples and a few other web dev tips. And it's fairly simple. It's just got a constructor function that takes 2 arguments, and there's just a simple function which does a very rudimentary password check. So what we can do from this file, which I've called user.ts, is to actually export this class and then import it into other files. So the way we do that is very simple. We just say export class user, and then anything else stays the same. And then if we save that, that should then be available within our code files to be imported. So let's say we've got another file over here. We've got index.ts. So if we want to import our user class to use it inside of here, we just import, and then we just import the user class, which has been exported from the previous file, and then we just make sure that we're referencing the right file name, and there's no need for the .ts extension, depending on how you've got your compiler set up, but generally you should just be able to reference the file like this. So now from our index.ts file, we can create a new user. So let's just test that out here. So we just need to pass in some details. So we need to pass in a name and also a password. Just set that as another string here. And then if we console.log the user here, we would see the user object being passed out into the console. So let's just run that here with our TypeScript code. So there we can see the user object has been created successfully, and that class has been imported from the user.ts file and then been used elsewhere. So this is a fundamental thing. You're going to want to separate all of your classes and distinct things into separate files to make it easier to manage your code base rather than having everything in one large file. Of course, you can actually export other things as well. So if you need to export the interface that we created down here, we can just say export the interface, and the same thing goes for enums, types, or any variables or functions that you create within your files, and that should then be available when you're doing your imports from here. So that's it. It's pretty simple to create a module in TypeScript and export properties and classes and other things, and then import them and use them within your other files. So that's it for this tutorial. Make sure you stay tuned for more web dev tips.